US Secretary of State John Kerry said the Saudi ministers he met in Jeddah agreed there's no military solution in Yemen. He's outlined a peace plan that would introduce a new power-sharing unity government. That could include members of the internationally backed government of President Abed Rabu Mansour Hadi, as well as the Houthi rebels who took the capital Sana'a by force in September 2014.
The final agreement, however, in broad outline, would include, in the first phase, the swift formation of a new national unity government with power shared among the parties, the withdrawal of forces from Sana'a and other key areas, the transfer of all heavy weapons, including ballistic missiles and launchers, from the Houthis and forces allied with them to a third party.
It's been a year and a half since Saudi Arabia began airstrikes on their neighbouring country to fight Houthi rebels. Both sides have been accused of gross human rights violations, and Kerry made it clear the fighting needs to end. Saudi Foreign Minister AL-JUBEIR says they've been very careful to avoid civilian casualties, and they're only involved in Yemen out of necessity, to liberate people from the rebels and protect their own borders.
We're saying the Houthis have every right to be part of the political process in Yemen like every other citizen, but they cannot have a privileged position where they have veto rights over a country of 26 million in which they represent less than 50,000.
Meanwhile, the United Nations has called for an independent investigation into human rights violations in Yemen. It listed many in a new report which says nearly 4,000 civilians have died in attacks, more than half of them as a result of airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition. It also condemned targeted killings, the use of cluster bombs and of child soldiers blamed mainly on the rebels.
All sides are responsible. There was targeting of civilian objects protected by the international law, like markets, like wedding ceremonies, hospitals, facilities that really, under the international humanitarian law, is protected.
UN-backed peace talks fell apart last month and the fighting continues. Meanwhile, Yemen's people remain vulnerable to violence and 80% don't have enough food, water or healthcare. Caroline Malone, Al Jazeera.